Okay, so let's get started again. I've just expanded out the folder, and this is the default structure that Spring Boot generates for you. You can see here we've got the POM file, and what we're going to do is we're going to just open it up and have a look inside. So let's see what we've got here. We've got the group ID which we typed in when we were setting up the Spring tool suite starter project, and this is the artifact ID. As you can see, this is the version of the framework. The packaging is going to package it up into a WAR file, and we can see a number of things as well. The dependencies, we can see that we've got Thyme Leaf here that we've clicked on, JDBC, and if I wanted to add extra stuff, I could have just added it up in here as well. So I can add extra stuff. I don't actually have to fill in that form that when we started up the project, you know, the Spring Starter project. I didn't need to fill that form at all. I could have just typed all that stuff in, and I can add extra dependencies by typing them in. The alternative way is that we could just right click on the project name up here, go to Maven, add dependency, and if I click on that, you can see this window would appear. Now what I'm going to do is just to show you how I can just search. Let's say I don't know the group ID, I don't know the artifact ID, and I know it's something to do with Spring. So if I type Spring, it will then start giving me all the Spring framework components, the different things that I can, there's Thyme Leaf, which I already have. I could include it if I wanted. And I can just expand that out, and it gives me all the versions that we have. Here we've already got 2.1.3, which I believe this is what we already have in here, and this is because it's the early version. I don't need to specify it, so I could select that if I wanted, and I can just add it in the project like so, and as you can see, it's added it here. Now I don't need it, so I'm going to just delete it off again. I'm going to save the file so it's all saved and nothing goes wrong. It's going to start building the workspace again. It's going to start downloading dependencies if it requires any to update, and that will all go inside in the library, and you can see Maven dependencies, and this is all the jar files. So this is really the benefit of Maven. You don't need to go on the internet and start downloading different jar files that you might require. You could just very simply put it all into a POM file, and then you know, and then it will just start bringing it all together, and then all you have to do is just give someone the POM file. It will generate the whole structure for them, give them all the relevant dependencies that it requires. So let's have a look at the source now. This is where all the Java files are, the resources, and this is what is generated a folder called Umicom, and inside there all we have is the application, and you'll be very surprised that it doesn't have any XML configuration. The web XML is all gone. It's all Java configuration from now, and Java annotations, and you can see that also we've got a main, so it looks pretty much like a desktop application now. And here all it does, it just runs the Spring application class. And so let's see what happens if we just click play for now. Let's see what you get. Okay, now to run, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to right click on the project name, which is Umicom Framework, and I'm just going to click on run as Spring Boot app. And expand the window so you can see what it's doing. It's now setting up the whole thing, wiring together all the beans, all the servlets, and we have a problem. What's the problem? Right, so there's a few things which we need to sort out. I think it'll be wise if we just remove all the dependencies that we don't require at this stage until we start putting together a database. Then we can start putting the JPAs and so on. Now to do that is very simple. We can just comment out the dependencies that's causing the problems, just to keep it very simple for now. We can see that it had a problem here, so let's just comment some of these things out for the moment. Let's continue with commenting out a few things that could be causing the problem, which we don't need for the moment. So let's just comment out, where's Thyme Leaf gone? Okay, so now it's started to run as soon as we commented out the Thyme Leaf. As you can see, we've commented out, and now it's running. So it's not as very straightforward as you might think. Sometimes you can start selecting some dependencies, and that could cause a problem if the entire thing isn't configured correctly. For example, if I want to use Hibernate, it makes sense that I need to have a database. So I need to have a database dependencies such as Derby or Oracle, MySQL or something like that. Otherwise it's going to throw up some exception errors. To avoid that, we just comment all the stuff that we don't need for the moment, and we just keep it simple. We can see that Tomcat started on port 8080. I'm also going to show you how to change that port so you can start Tomcat on any other port, so 8081 or port 80 by itself. So all you have to do is just type, the website or the local host, and you don't need to add the port, and it will just load the website straight away. So let's just go to the web just now and let's see what happens. Okay, so now we're in localhost 8080. We can see that white label error page. Once we create this mapping for error, it will then give us our own custom error message if we like. If the page isn't found, we can give something that could be more understandable for us or the user that might get that error message that the page is unavailable or something like that. Right, I've promised a number of things. I said to you I'm going to show you how we can change the port. Now, to change the ports, we go into resources, application properties, and we can enter a number of things here. So let's just say, for example, server.port equals 80, and let's add a few other lines as well, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say maximum threads, and I'm going to put 513. So that basically says that I can have a maximum thread or maximum connection of 513 simultaneous connections to the server at the same time, so I can be connected to these number of threads that I'm spooling out. Okay, so that's just keep that simple, and now we're going to start the server again. The way to do that, we're going to run. I don't need to start the server again, because basically what we've got is we've got Tomcat embedded in the application. Now if you look here, you see that it's port 80 now, and the application started successfully in 16.682 seconds. If I refresh that, we get page not found because we've just changed the port. If we change that to port 80, which is the default port, so we just click localhost, and now we've got that. So we can also, if you wanted to add the port number, you can add it like that. It's just basically the default. So there's localhost. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start customizing things to make it more like Umicom Framework, my own structure, my own framework MVC. So the way I've designed things, you can do the same, or you can use the generic stuff that comes with Spring.